Anu, V6, 116, Sol 24 degrees Leo, Luna 25 degrees Cancer, Hour of Venus, Dies Solis, or Sunday, August 16, 2020, Era Vulgaris, 4:31 p.m. Christopher Robert Neal, Peregrine and Advocate, Reader. Do what thy wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. Mystery of Mystery, a primer of Thelemic Ecclesiastical Gnosticism. Written by Sabazius X degree, or 10th degree, USGL of OTO, and Thou Helena. Part 2, Chapter 3, The Creed of the Gnostic Catholic Church, and Examination. The text of the Creed of Iglesia Gnostica Catholica is as follows. I believe in one secret and ineffable Lord, and in one star in the company of stars, of whose fire we are created, and to which we shall return, and in one Father of life, mystery of mystery, in his name, Chaos, the sole vice-regent of the sun upon earth, and in one air, the nourisher of all that breathes. And I believe in one earth, the mother of us all, and in one womb, wherein all men are begotten, and wherein they shall rest, mystery of mystery, in her name, Babylon. And I believe in the serpent and the lion, mystery of mystery, in his name, Baphomet. And I believe in one Gnostic and Catholic Church of light, life, love, and liberty, the word of whose law is Thelema. And I believe in the communion of saints, and for as much as meat and drink are transmuted in us daily into spiritual substance, I believe in the miracle of the Mass, and I confess one baptism of wisdom, whereby we accomplish the miracle of incarnation. And I confess my life one, individual, and eternal, that was, and is to come. Note that the Creed is divided into 8 clauses, followed by 3 repetitions of the Thelemic form of the Pranava. The first 4 clauses are attributed to the 4 letters of Tetragrammaton, Yod, He, Vav, He. The father, Chaos. The mother, Babylon. The union of father and mother in the Son, Baphomet, and the daughter, the bride of the Son, the Church. The 2 following clauses describe the essential products of the Mass from the perspective of the congregation. The final two clauses are in the form of confession rather than belief and describe parallels between the occurrences in the Mass and the life of the individual. On the Lord, the star, the Father, and the heir. I believe in one secret and ineffable Lord. The word ineffable means beyond description, beyond speech. It refers to Kether, the ultimate unity, which is beyond all understanding and cannot be comprehended even through the highest wisdom. And in one star, in the company of stars, of whose fire we are created, and to which we shall return. This refers to soul, the Son, our Lord, visible and sensible, the ultimate source of all physical energy upon and within our planet, which is but one amid myriads, and in one Father of life, mystery of mystery, in his name, Chaos, the sole vice-regent of the Son upon earth. The name Chaos is derived from Liber 418, 14th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd aethers, wherein it is identified as a name of Chokmah. Chaos is the name used by the Orpheans to denote the primal, undifferentiated substance from which the universe was formed. The alchemists used the word chaos to mean the essence or soul of something, its airy part. It is from this usage of the word chaos that we derive our modern word gas. Here, it refers to the creative paternal principle, the yod of Tetragrammaton, the fire of Heraclitus, and the Chaldean oracles. We know from Crowley's other writings that the sole vice-regent of the Son upon earth refers to the Phalos, which is therefore to be identified with the name Chaos. The Phalos, then, in its capacity as the sole vice-regent of the Son upon earth, represents the creative and life-giving fire as it manifests itself in living beings who dwell on the surface of this planet. In the context used in the Gnostic Mass, as well as in the Star Ruby, the name Phalos or Phale should not be confused with the word penis, although the penis does serve as an ancient yet imperfect symbol for the phallus. The term phallicism, as used by Sir Richard Payne, Knight, and others, does not refer to penis worship, but to the worship of the generative power, a power which dwells in sexually mature individuals of both sexes. A sexually mature and active woman embodies the phallus as much as any man. Nevertheless, the generative power expressed by the names chaos and phallus or phale is distinct from that expressed by the name Babylon. Whereas chaos represents raw generative power or creative energy, Babylon represents the influence which captures, restricts, concentrates, directs, and applies that raw energy as a refined and focused force for the accomplishment of the great work. The womb which this phallus makes fertile is the one womb wherein all men are begotten, and wherein they shall rest, or the matter, space, time continuum which comprises the universe. In the Equinox, Volume 3, Number 1, also known as the Blue Equinox, within the tank, Crowley notes, when you have proved that God is merely a name for the sex instinct, it appears to me not far to the perception that the sex instinct is God. And in one air, the nourisher of all that breathes. Air of the four elements is attributed to the Vav of Tetragrammaton, the third person of the Holy Quaternity, or Quaternity. In air of the four elements is attributed to Vav of the Tetragrammaton, the third person of the Holy Quaternity. It is Tifereth to the Chokmah of chaos. It is Yesod to the Tifereth of spirit. As the Ruach, it is the Holy Spirit, the mind of the formative world, and the Son of the Father, which caresses the cheek of our fair mother, and which descends from the sky to mediate between us and our Father the Son, by communicating the holy prana into our blood through inspiration. Physically, this one air unites us in a single, sensible continuum with all other living beings, who unites us in a single, sensible continuum with all other living beings who have ever dwelt on the surface of the earth. From it, the plants partake of carbon dioxide gas, which they combine with the salts of the earth, water, and the light of the sun to give us our bread and wine. And to it they return the oxygen gas of which we as animals partake. This oxygen gas feeds our interior flames of metabolism, in which the bread and wine is sacrificed, and whose incense returns the carbon dioxide gas to the air, in just measure, as an offering of thanksgiving for our nourishment. Thus all terrestrial life is linked in physical, cyclic communion through the medium of the one air. On the earth, the mother and the womb. And I believe in one earth, the mother of us all, and in one womb wherein all men are begotten, and wherein they shall rest. Mystery of mystery, in her name, Babylon. The name Babylon, like the name chaos, comes from the 12th, second Aethers of Liber 418, where it is identified as a name of Bine, the Great Mother, the He of Tetragrammaton, paired with the Yod of chaos. In Gnostic terms, Babylon represents Sophia, the mother of all, and with chaos, the first Syzygy, Syzygy, the first of the dual principles responsible for manifested existence. The chaos, Babylon, Syzygy, may also be identified as sun, moon, sky, earth, Shiva, Shakti, Shamash, Ishtar, Dumuzi, Inanna, Zeus, Semele, Simon, Helena, and other pairs of divine lovers. Babylon, as the Great Mother, represents matter, a word which is derived from the Latin word for mother. She is the physical mother of each of us, the one who provided us with the material flesh to clothe our naked spirits. She is the archetypal mother, the great Yoni, the womb of all that lives through the flowing of blood. She is the great sea, the divine blood, itself which cloaks the world and which courses through our veins. And she is Mother Earth, the womb of all life that we know. On Baphomet. And I believe in the serpent and the lion, mystery of mystery, in his name, Baphomet. The lion serpent symbol complex is very ancient and occurs in Mithraic as well as Egyptian and Gnostic iconography. The lion is the king of beasts. Due to its strength, regal bearing, tawny solar color, and because its mane resembles the aurora of the sun. The serpent, perhaps because it allegedly guarded the tree of knowledge, is associated with wisdom. Also, because it sheds its skin and because it moves in an undulatory pattern, the serpent has long been a symbol of renewal and the cycle of death and rebirth. Some cultures have noted that because the serpent has lidless eyes, it is the only creature that can look directly at the sun without blinking. The name of the Hebrew letter Teth means serpent, and Teth is attributed to the zodiacal sign of Leo, the lion. Teth corresponds to the tarot trump called lust, or in the old system, strength. This trump depicts the relationship between chaos and Babylon. While the lion and the serpent are both associated with Teth, Leo, the serpent is also a symbol of the zodiacal sign Scorpio. Leo and Scorpio are both fixed signs, but whereas Leo is a fiery sign, ruled by the sun, Scorpio is a watery sign, ruled by Mars or Pluto, and Scorpio and Leo are located square to each other on the wheel of the zodiac. Also, Scorpio is attributed to the letter Nun, which corresponds to the tarot trump called Death. Leo can be viewed as representing the conscious will or the will to live. Scorpio can be viewed as representing the unconscious will or the will to die. Thus, the symbolism of the serpent and the lion can be taken as referring to the lust or desire which perpetually drives the wheel of birth. Life and death. This doctrine is recapitulated in the priest's second invocation before the veil, which contains this doctrine is recapitulated in the priest's second invocation before the veil, which contains the following quote from the book of the law: I am life, and the giver of life, yet therefore is the knowledge of me the knowledge of death. Our tradition teaches us that there is no death without life, and there is no life without death. Life and death are two sides of the same wheel, the serpent and the lion, mystery of mystery, in his name, Baphomet. Baphomet is the name of the idol the Knights Templars were accused of worshiping. Baphomet has been interpreted in many different ways by different authorities. Here are some examples. Visconti, a French corruption of Muhammad. Von hammer, pugstol, Greek, bathe metis, equals the baptism of wisdom. Note 1. Bathe is Greek for dipping, as in a vat of dye. Metis was a titaness who presided over the fourth day of the week, the planet Mercury, and all wisdom and knowledge. After the overthrow of the Titans by the gods, Zeus developed a lust for Metis and seduced her. An oracle predicted that their child would be a girl, but that the next child of Metis, if there were one, would be a boy who would eventually depose Zeus as he had deposed Kronos. To avoid such a catastrophe, Zeus trapped Metis and swallowed her whole. Days later, Athena, the goddess of wisdom, burst forth from Zeus's skull. Von Hamer, Hugstall, Hebrew, Mupto, Bet Yahweh, equals the key to the house of God. Raspe, Greek, Bathe Metros, or Bathe Metios, equals the baptism or tincture of wisdom. C.W. King, Greek, Bathe Metros, equals the baptism of the mother, or a corruption of behemoth. Lidi, a symbol of the universal agent, or of Mercury, or of Pan, or of Sulfur, or of the Gnostic Hail. Also a reverse notericon, tem, OHP ab, equals templi omnium hominum bases abbas. The father of the temple, the universal peace of men. Maki, a symbol of mortality. Blavatsky, a symbol of Azazel, the goat of God, or strength of God, the ancient Hebrew scapegoat. Crowley, Baphometr, equals father of Mithra. Also, 8 letters indicates Mercury. Also, 729 equals Kephas, or stone, the name Jesus gave Peter as the founder of the church. The cubic stone, which was the corner of the temple. Also, the inverted pentagram, the hermaphrodite fully grown. Also, the original being. Zeus, Arhenothelus, or Bacchus, Difues. Also, the androgyne, the hieroglyph of arcane perfection. Also, the emblem of Pangenitor, as symbolized by Atu 15, the devil, trump of the tarot. By Athbash Timura, Baphomet equals Sophia. Bajent and Lay, after Idris Shah, Arabic Abu Fihamet, pronounced in more Spanish as Bufihimat, equals father of understanding or father of wisdom. Abu Fahamet. The Baphometic idol was usually described as a bearded head with a fierce expression. Von Hamer, Buchstahl, Mysterium Baphometis Revelatum, 1816, associated a series of carved or engraved figures found on a number of 13th century Templar artifacts, such as cups, bowls, and coffers, with the Baphometic idol. 3 such figures are shown upon the video, or in the book. Three such figures are shown below. Images similar to the first 2 of the above images were found on a number of different artifacts. The image is typically of a female or androgynous figure with a dour expression, sometimes bearded, naked, except for a cape and headdress similar to that worn by Sibyl in ancient monuments, or Cybele in ancient monuments, holding a chain in each hand and flanked by images of the sun and moon, and of a 5-pointed and 6 or 7-pointed star, and with a skull beneath its feet. Drawing in part upon the images published by von Hamer Pugstad, Eliphas Levi depicted Baphomet in his now famous drawing, The Devil of the Tarot, a winged, goat-headed being with human female breasts and a caduceus for a phallus, seated upon a cubic stone which rests upon a globe, with its right arm raised toward a waxing crescent moon and inscribed Salve, its left arm lowered toward a waning crescent moon and inscribed Coagula, a flaming torch between its horns and an upright pentagram on its forehead. Is Baphomet the devil? Do we worship an evil deity? Not by our definition, or even by the definition used by our detractors. The evil of Baphomet, the devil of the tarot, is not the evil of crime or oppression or superstitious blasphemy, but that which was considered most evil by the Manichaeans and other Old Aeon Gnostics, namely generation, which results in incarnation, the imprisonment of a pure spirit in the impure tomb of matter. Hence, Baphomet is symbolized by both the right and averse pentagrams. The right pentagram showing spirits interlocked with the 4 elements of matter. The averse pentagram showing spirit submerged within the 4 elements of matter. Baphomet can be seen as the dialectic union of opposites, the union of chaos and Babylon, the synthesis of thesis and antithesis, Chokmah and Binah, united in Tifereth, the sperm and egg united in the zygote, Yod the father and He the mother united in Vav the son, will and memory united in the conscious mind. Recall that Vav is the Hebrew word for a nail, that which unites. Thus, Baphomet is the serpent and the lion, the androgyne, the hermaphrodite, the rebus of the alchemists, and the double-headed eagle of the Freemasons. Baphomet is also, therefore, the baptism of wisdom, whereby we accomplish the miracle of incarnation. Zeus, swallowing the mercurial Metis, who rose into his skull as Athena, goddess of wisdom, or the plunging of the will of Chokmah into the great sea of Bene, resulting in the 7 rivers and the breaking of the vessels, or the descent of Sophia, Achamuth, into the outer darkness, there to cause the creation of the world, or the descent of the dove upon the chalice and host to sanctify the Eucharist. Those familiar with the Simonian Gnostic treatise called the Apophasis Megillah, note 2, a fragment of this text is on page 356, will also recognize Baphomet as the Father, the Demiurgus, which manifests in the middle space between the male great power and the female great thought. Further insight into the nature of Baphomet may be gained by the consideration of the lion as the lion of the tribe of Judah, of the root of David, and the serpent as that memorialized and foreshadowed by Moses when he crucified a fiery serpent of brass in the desert. The serpent whose number is 358. The following are all symbols attributable to Baphomet from different perspectives: the sun and moon conjoined, the point within the circle, the Greek letter theta, the Orphic egg, the heart girt with a serpent, the Kundalini serpent entwined about the Swavyambhu linga, the Ardhanadisvara image, the Greek letter upsilon, the Roman letter Y, the right pentagram, the averse pentagram, the hexagram as union of fire and water, the 2 stars, 5 and 6 pointed, the unicursal hexagram as sun and moon united by the 4 elements, the Sechemti crown, the crown of north and south united, the cone, the rose and cross, the ankh, the emblem of Venus, the emblem of Mars, the emblem of Mercury, the caduceus, or caduceus, the chief adept's wand, the Celtic cross or Celtic cross, the solar cross, the orb and cross, the crucifix, the will, the skull and crossbones, the skull with a green sprig or leaf in its mouth, the tree growing from a corpse, the grip, the praying hands, the child, Jesus in the mandorla, the Alpha and the Omega, the dove descending upon the chalice, the dolphin sporting in the sea, the relus, the square and compasses, the level and plume, the lance and cup, the sword and disc. It is now the hour of Mercury. On the Gnostic and Catholic Church, and I believe in one Gnostic and Catholic Church of light, life, love, and liberty, the word of whose law is Thelema. The union of Yod the Father and He the Mother involve. The Son gives rise to He the Daughter. The union of chaos and Babylon in Baphomet gives rise to the Gnostic and Catholic Church of light, life, love, and liberty, the word of whose law is Thelema. The word church comes from the Greek Duma Kurikon, meaning house of the Lord. As such, it is the place where we gather in fellowship to commune with the highest. Our church is both Gnostic and Catholic. We are Gnostic because we accept the emanationist cosmogony of the Gnostics as exemplified by the Tree of Life and the 30 Aethers of Enoch, or Hanuk. In their doctrine, our church is both Gnostic and Catholic. We are Gnostic because we accept the emanationist cosmogony of the Gnostics as exemplified by the Tree of Life and the 30 Aethers of Enoch, and their doctrine of individual redemption, illumination through gnosis. We are Catholic because our system is non-elitist, open to all, and of universal interest, but also because we, in common with the Catholic Church of Rome, in opposition to the Old Aeon Gnostics, affirm life and childbirth to be sacred and marriage to be a holy sacrament. We claim descent from the Gnostics of old through the secret traditions of the Knights Templar, the Grail legends, and the troubadours and minnesingers, and the veiled teachings of the alchemists, hermeticists, Kabbalists, magicians, Rosicrucians, Masons, and Sufis. However, we are not Gnostic in the sense of the word used by the modern-day Gnostic revivalists, who are attempting to breathe life into the dry skeletons of Basilides, Valentinus, and Mani. Our gnosis has been tempered in the furnace. Our gnosis has been tempered in the furnace of 18 centuries of trial, experiment, and dialogue, and has been ultimately transmuted by the gnosis of a new word, Thelema. We are Gnostics by heirship, communion, and by elements of theory and practice. But we have shed the old slavish longing for deliverance. No longer do we perceive incarnation as the incarnation of spirit by matter, but as the information of matter by spirit. No longer do we shut ourselves up in ascetic withdrawal, turning our backs on life and scorning experience as defilement of our purity. Now, having been armed with the new law, we go forth on the face of earth to do our wills among the living, to radiate our light into every dim recess of the world, and to unite with all the possibilities of existence, which is pure joy. The formula of the word thelema may be studied in Magic and Theory and Practice, Chapter 7, Section 3, and the law is for all, commentary on Liber Al 139. The Greek word thelema may be translated as will, desire, or duty. It enumerates to 93, as does the Greek word agape, meaning love. And on the saints, and I believe in the communion of saints. Communion means mutual participation. The saints of the true church of old time are invoked by the deacon in the collect number 5. Lord of life and joy, that art the might of man, that art the essence of every true God that is upon the surface of the earth, continuing knowledge from generation unto generation, thou adored of us upon heaths and in woods, on mountains and in caves, openly in the marketplaces and secretly in the chambers of our houses. In temples of gold and ivory and marble, as in these other temples of our bodies, we worthily commemorate them worthy that did of old adore thee and manifest thy glory unto men. Laos and Siddhartha and Krishna and Tahuti, Moshe, Dionysus, Muhammad, and 2 Megatherion. With these also Hermes, Pan, Priapus, Osiris, and Melchizedek, Chem and Amun, and Mintu, Heracles, Orpheus, and Odysseus, and Virgilius, Catullus, Martialis, Rabelais, Swinburne, and many an holy bard, Apollonius Theaneus, Simon Magus, Manus, Pythagoras, Basilides, Valentinus, Bardesanes, and Hippolytus, that transmitted the light of the Gnosis to us, their successors and their heirs. With Merlin, Arthur, Camoret, Parzival, and many another prophet, priest, and king, that bore the lance and cup, the sword and disc against the heathen. And these also, Carolus Magnus and his paladins, with William of Shiren, Frederick of Hohenstaufen, Roger Bacon, Jacobus Burgundus, Molensus, the martyr, Christian Rosenkreutz, Ulrich von Hutten, Paracelsus, Michael Mayer, Roderick Borgia, Pope Alexander VI, Jacob Boehme, Francis Bacon, Lord Verulam, Andrea, Robertus de Fructibus, Johannes Day, Sir Edward Kelly, Thomas Vaughan, Elias Ashmole, Molinos, Adam Weishaupt, Wolfgang von Goethe, William Blake, Ludovicus Rex Bavary, Richard Wagner, Alphonse Louis Constant, Frederick Nietzsche, Hargrave Jennings, Carl Kellner, 4 Long-Dukes, Sir Richard Payne Knight, Sir Richard Francis Burton, Paul Roran, and Dr. Gerard Nkose, Dr. Theodore Roos, and Sir Aleister Crowley. O sons of the lion and the snake, with all thy saints we worthily commemorate them worthy that were and are to come. May their essence be here present, potent, puissant, and paternal to perfect this feast. It is to be noted that this list of saints is incomplete, as evidenced by such phrases as "and many an holy bard," and many another, even though the names of these other saints of our church are not mentioned in this place. Their essence is nevertheless invoked with that of those given specific mention. Let us not forget that among these silent saints are all the female saints of our church, including all mothers, according to our past patriarch Peregrinus, whose name, in accordance with tradition, are never divulged. After the essence of the saints has been invoked by the deacons in the colex, the priest, during the consecration of the elements, just prior to the Trisagion, addresses the invoked essence of the saints with these words: "Hear ye all, saints of the true church of old time, now essentially present, that of ye we claim heirship. With ye we claim communion. From ye we claim benediction. In the name of When speaking these words, the priest may choose to focus his attention upon the cup which is in the hand of the priestess, for the saints are those who have drained every drop of their blood, their essence, into the cup of Babylon. And since the wine within the cup has already been transmuted into the blood of God, the blood of the saints and the blood of God are one blood, the essence of every true God that is upon the surface of the earth, continuing knowledge from generation unto generation. Therefore, as the church invokes its saints, its progenitors, whose divine blood fills its cup, informs its rites, and frames the walls of its spiritual edifice, so do each of us invoke our own saints, our progenitors and ancestors, whose divine blood fills our bodies, informs our intuition, and frames the astral walls of our holy temple. The formula of Iao is to be studied in Magic and Theory and Practice, Chapter 5. In the heart of the Master, Iao is represented by the voice of the pelican, attributed to Tifereth. All that liveth is blood of the heart of the Master. All stars are at feast on that pasture, abiding in light. Concluding remarks. And for as much as meat and drink are transmuted in us daily into spiritual substance, I believe in the miracle of the Mass. The miracle of the Mass is the alchemical transmutation of base metal into gold. In essence, the transubstantiation of matter into divine energy. This transmutation occurs not only to the elements of the Eucharist during their consecration, but also within the communicants during their communion. Hence the words, "There is no part of me that is not of the gods." The qualifying remark about meat, which means all food, and drink is an acknowledgement that this miracle is really a natural process, which is realized by the recognition of its miraculous nature. And I confess one baptism of wisdom, whereby we accomplish the miracle of incarnation. Von Hamer's elucidation of the name Baphomet is Baphe Mectis, the baptism of wisdom. The word confess is from the Latin. The word confess is from the late Latin confiteri, meaning in this case to acknowledge. And I confess my life one, individual and eternal, that was and is to come. This may be viewed as a concise summary of all that has been stated previously in the Creed. It has many potential interpretations on many different levels. It could be interpreted as implying a doctrine of metempsychosis, or that life is a single continuum, or that each individual partakes of the nature of Hadid. In any case, the individual acknowledges that the life that he or she possesses transcends apparent temporal limitations. The phrase that was and is to come is reminiscent of the Simonian symbolon of he who has stood, standeth, and shall stand. This is the Thelemic form of the pranava, the sacred Vedic symbol Om. Its usage here is equivalent to that of the word Amen of the Judeo-Christian tradition. The usage of this word Amen by the Hebrews probably originated in the Egyptian custom of taking oaths in the name of the god called Amun, or Amen, known as King of the Gods and Lord of Heaven, whose name means hidden. Is also the voice of the swan from the heart of the Master, attributed to Kether through the bornless, through the eternal, the thought of the Master goeth, afloat in the ether. The particular M sound used in the pranava is different from the familiar M of English. It is made with the lips slightly open and represents a nasalization of the syllable rather than a separate, independent phoneme. The Thelemic pranava may, therefore, be pronounced as follows. Begin vocalizing with the mouth wide open, gradually narrow the lips while keeping the jaw open. When the lips are nearly closed, close the jaw and continue vocalizing a strong nasal sound for a few moments. For a complete exegesis of the Thelemic pranava, see Magic and Theory and Practice, Chapter 7, Section 5. The formula of contains a summary of the entire creed. Its threefold repetition at the end of the creed seals and completes the creed, calling forth the Holy Virgin, who next appears.